Today's recipe has comfort written all over it. It's a side that can go with just about everything.
Yeah, here to share her delicious cornbread recipe in the ciKitchen is our U of I student chef this week, Hanna Boorom. Good to have you, Hannah.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I love this. So this is called Southern Comfort cornbread, but there's no Southern Comfort in it, right? We're talking about Drunkalicious Punch.
Yeah.
We have to make it clear. Okay.
No, yes. No alcohol in this.
Okay.
But I guess you could add it.
Well, sure. I mean, we can probably dunk it in it.
Yeah, there you go.
So we're making cornbread, and this is all in anticipation of your big spice box meal.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what you have planned for your dinner.
So we have a 2- and 4-course fine dining experience. Just Southern Comfort is just kind of based on my travels to the South, and of course, the legendary Southern hospitality.
Sure.
The food is amazing, every time you go. So.
Are you originally from the South?
No.
Okay.
I'm from the Midwest, but just every time I've gone, I've just fell in love with it more and more. So.
I lived down there. Well, you did too.
Yeah.
I mean, and there are some wonderful things about the South, but it's interesting when you're a Midwesterner and you go there, you see things a little bit differently, and you kind of appreciate some of their things. So your observations and putting that into the food, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So we're making a cornbread dish, something that's going to be on your menu.
Yes.
So what do we need to get started?
Okay, so we have our cornmeal here, about 6.9 ounces, almost 7 ounces.
Now, that's how you all do things there at the U of I, at the Bavir and Spice Block. You do things in ounces.
Yes.
But for, the ordinary mom and dad at home, how many, cups and...
I think it's about 1.5 cups.
Okay.
Yeah. We just do it in ounces to make sure that everything is standardized and, all the same. Especially when you're baking, that's really important. To make sure everything comes out perfectly, because it's all about ratios.
Okay, so you added in some flour next.
Yeah, that was flour. This is about 1.5 teaspoon or half teaspoon of baking soda. We have 1.5 teaspoon baking powder, and just about a half teaspoon of salt.
I'm absorbing what you're saying about the ratios for baking.
Yeah.
That explains why when I try to ad-lib in the kitchen with my baking, things usually turn out really, really badly.
Yeah. I mean, it depends, because a cup for you might be a little bit over the edge, but for Heather, maybe she would use a knife and flatten it out, so a cup can end up being something very different, and especially in our case, when we're scaling up the recipe to, 100, 150, 180 people, that can cause problems.
Right.
Yeah,
so kitchen scales are very helpful.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so we're getting this all mixed up.
So yeah, just mix all the dry ingredients together, and then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the wet. So we have 1.5 cups of buttermilk.
So why buttermilk and not just regular?
So the buttermilk has an acidic component to it, which actually activates the baking soda and baking powder. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have a little bit of melted butter.
You have to have butter.
You have to have butter.
And not just in the milk.
No.
Not just in the milk, exactly. And then we have some eggs just lightly beaten in the wet ingredients as well. Okay. So same thing, just mix them all together.
What I love about your recipe here is that it's really easy to set everything out in advance, and this is totally not only a kid-friendly recipe to eat, it's a kid-friendly recipe to make.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's super, super easy, and that's kind of what I like about a lot of Southern cooking, too, is it's very simple but effective. It's delicious, and that's kind of what I'm going for.
Something else, though, it is kind of high calories.
Yeah.
So are you taking that into consideration when you're planning your menu?
Unfortunately not. But there's no fun in that. So.
Right,
That's
exactly.
true. When you go to a spice box meal, you're going to get really, really good food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just plan to wear a belt that you can take.
Exactly.
Wear your stretchy
That's
pants.
right. That's right.
So you've got some butter and other stuff over there. What is that for?
So this is for what it's going to be accompanied with. So the cornbread is the bread service. It'll be delivered to every table, and it's going to be served with the salted honey butter.
Ooh.
So this is just the ingredients for that.
Salted honey butter?
Yeah.
That sounds
So we
amazing.
just have about 1/4 pound, which is half a stick, or 1 stick, I'm sorry, of butter, and then about 2.5 teaspoons of honey and a teaspoon of kosher salt. You could just take out the kosher salt and just use salted butter, but I like to be able to control the amount of salt in it too, because you don't want it to be too salty as well.
Heather, this is the appetizer. Can you imagine what the main course and the dessert would be?
I know. So you combine all this, and then do you put them in muffin tins, or do you put it in a loaf pan, or how do you prepare it?
You can do it either way. Mine specifically is going to be in a tin, so you can just cut them into squares and serve them that way. But muffins are always great, super easy to just take with you on the go.
And taking reservations now.
Yes. Yes.
Are you serving milk as your drink? That's how my grandpa ate cornbread.
No.
He would have to dunk it in his milk. So.
I mean, there's milk available, but it's not going to be served.
Perhaps by request.
Yes.
So you can see the menu online right now at the Spicebox website.
Yes. Make reservations now so that you get in on the list because you don't want to be left out.
Yes.
And I understand there's mac and cheese?
There is, yeah. That's going to be the appetizer for both courses. For both
word.
menus.
Yum, yum.
So good. Okay, you're going to stick around, and we'll have Hannah's recipe on CILiving.tv.